The Rotary Club of Greater Nashua is celebrating its centennial this year. Once a month, the club is celebrating highlights from each decade. These are the highlights from 1991 to 2000.
Welcome once again to the National Rotary Club 100th year presentation celebration. And this presentation this month is from the 8th decade, as President-elect Beth told us earlier. And it is from 2001 to 2011. No, I lied. 1991 to 2001. And it is a lot of this information, I have to tell you, is brought to you by the hard work of Dr. Adrian Levesque. So we have to do a big shout out to him before we even begin. He really has become such an archivist for our club, and we thank him. Our past presidents for that decade, as you can read through, Ernie Jetty and Tina and Jack and Brian are all still in our club, so that was very good. So those are some of the presidents from that decade. Charitable donations totaling over $620,000 over that decade. Quite a large chunk of money. You're next.
So we've highlighted Jim Conway, who was president from 91 to 92. Here's a picture of Tom Tessier handing over the gavel to Jim Conway. In the middle, picture of the new playground people helped build at the Adult Learning Center. You have, yeah, Ernie Jetty there.
Jordan, past president.
And then just a list of the donations for that year. It's over $18,000. YMCA. Can you see who else is there? Students to offset peer pressure. I remember that from high school. That was a big group.
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah. And this bottom left article is a Cambridge University student who had received a scholarship, and he came back to the club. He wanted to thank everybody in person and how important that scholarship was to him. So I'm sure that was a great meeting. And then here there's a lot of you'll see a lot of political figures come through Rotary meetings. We have Paul Tsongas here, presidential write-in Ralph Nader. This little article from the Telegraph said Bill Barry took a poll at one of the Rotary clubs to throw in $1 if you were going to vote Democrat or Republican, and Bush edged out Buchanan $28 to $20. And this other article over here is about prior to Paul Tsongas speaking as a guest speaker that day, the Rotary Club was talking about how to cut costs for the price of their lunch, and they talked about cutting out the tomatoes in the salad as a money saver. Yeah.
Then we have past president Ernie Jetty. Charitable funds totaled that year almost $75,000. Christmas tree sales had a huge profit. Our club was selected as Nashua's outstanding organization in helping others. And remember that these presentations are all recorded, so they're going to be sent to each individual member. So if we push through and you're not able to read everything, you can always go back and look again. Thanks, Paige. Membership roster that Dr. Levesque found for us from July 1st, 1992 boasts 159 members in that 6-month period, July 1 to December 31. We thought that was pretty notable. What's cool about these rosters also is that they give the name and the classification of the person that's a member, and indicates if that member has been awarded a Paul Harris Fellowship Award, and indicates if they've earned more than one Paul Harris Fellowship Award, which is something our club is really, really working hard to do to become 100% with members. I know I'm wearing my pin today. I'm so thrilled. We're all proud of that. Former Massachusetts Senator Paul Tsongas addresses the National Rotary Club with former New Hampshire Senator Warren Redmond in the background, and that was with past President Joe Medved from 93 to 94. And you can see the charitable giving in the other part of the slide.
Bob Rasa, I believe I would say Rasa, during his presidency, highlighted a few things. Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson is a guest speaker, another political figure. Here's a list of charitable giving for that year, over $19,000, 13 organizations. A pet clinic, I noticed it was done for a few years. National Rotary sponsored it, where people could go to the Humane Society and get $3 vaccinations, which is great to keep our pets, local pets safe. Also, Nashua Rotary bought a couple plane tickets, so an eye doctor and a few assistants could go to Brazil and help people in need. And this we thought was fun to post. A guest speaker, I guess, was avid parachutist, and she actually rode in on her parachute to speak that day in the middle of winter, because she came down the 18th hole and touched down 20 feet from her target.
The only way we're not late for meetings some days. And this is past President Ted Jordan, someone I had the honor of knowing. And this shows some of the giving that we did to help with what was known as Nashua Pastoral Care, now known as the Front Door Agency, and to Harbor Homes. A lot of money that was given to help with home building and restoration and renovations of apartment buildings. That's the picture shown here. In that photo, Ted is the furthest to the left, and furthest to the right is the executive director of Harbor Homes, Peter Kelleher. I believe he's there still. And then the next one I think has, oh, these, 1995 was a banner year for trees. It was, 24,000 was raised over a period of 3 years each year. And though not there to be recognized in the picture that we have is Chick Folio. And he, can we move the, we have to move the picture of ourselves to read things to you. With the tree sales netting, he was recognized at a meeting that he had a great year with tree sales netting $12,475, and he was really instrumental in making that happen. And it was a tremendous year. So there's a copy of the schedule, not unlike what we do now, but a nice archive to present.
In this same year, more political figures. Harry Brown, presidential hopeful, spoke at one of our meetings. Republican hopeful Steve Forbes. Phil Graham came to talk at Rotary.
Past President Alan Crane brings vision to the Caribbean islanders and Tobago. When he was president, there was a trip to Tobago that you'll see a little bit more about in a minute that Dr. Carl Quimby attended, that would go to help with people who lived in various islands and in Tobago, and help with the vision program down there, or to create a vision program. There's more write-up coming up on that.
List over to the left, just 46,000 in fundraising, football raffle, the fruit sales, 100 holes of golf, the holiday auction, and tree sales.
Before we talk about Dr. Carl Quimby, we tried really hard to find photos of 100 holes of golf, because I did speak with the late Ted Jordan's widow, Mary Jordan, and she felt that that was probably something he felt most proud of that he had accomplished in our Rotary Club. And she didn't have any photos. She did check and wished us well with our project, but I just wanted to put that in there. So if anybody had any pictures, it'd be great to send them forward. We can always add to these and save them in the archives. Dr. Carl Quimby, I Care for Tobago Project. Oh, you want me to? Okay. In early '96, District Governor Walter Killian, in conjunction with Tobago Rotary Club, decided to make this project the District 7870 1997 World Community Service Project. And he recruited 3 optometrists, 3 ophthalmologists, and 32 support personnel to travel to Tobago to provide much needed eye care. Tobago is part of the country of Trinidad and is located just off the coast of Venezuela. And then you can read the rest about what was done, but kudos for Dr. Quimby for going. I believe Dr. Dagianis was on that trip, but I can ask you later, Carl. So good job. You did a lot of good. Were some highlights. We have some highlights of the Rotary International projects that our club was involved with that we had record of from 1992 to 97. You can read right along. Past President Ernie presented a Paul Harris Fellowship to Dr. Carl Quimby, who led our club in the donation of $70,000 to the Polio Plus campaign. There was something approved for Guinea Worm Project, Youth Exchange Program, and then the trip to Brazil. 1996, it was a cataract project for Indonesia. We donated $500 and matching money was provided $2,000 for the entire project. And also in August of 1997, at the request of District Governor Ken Grabo, who I believe was always a member of Rotary West, our club donated $1,000 to establish a drug rehabilitation project in Russia.
Here is highlights from Tina Andrade's presidency. She became the first woman president of the Nashua Rotary. Woohoo! As you can see right across the top of the Telegraph front page, it announced it. She's pictured here with Ed Clout, secretary at the time, Sai Mahfouz, vice president, and Jack Tully, president-elect. Here, during her presidency, she visited St. Petersburg, Russia, where she attended a Rotary International Conference on Peace and Unity. Some nice pictures here. The conference drew 600 Rotarians from 32 different countries. In the upper right is just some more lists of our yearly charitable giving. This is scholarship recipients, and there were 11 students all receiving $1,000 towards college.
And District Governor and Mrs. Ken Grabo, again, Ken being from the Nashua West Rotary, attended that as well. And there's a picture of him down there, I think standing just behind Tina. And this was a Nashua Rotary Club board minutes, and we were like, was this before word processing, 1998, before computers? Just being funny. It was handwritten and respectfully submitted by Ed Clough, who was the secretary at the time. And we just got a kick out of it, saying, wow, this was like, we've come so far, I guess is what we're saying. It was kind of interesting to see some old board minutes as well.
More of Tina's presidency shows her giving checks to local community recipients of the largest annual donation. Nashua Rotary has made $100,000 total. $65,000 was awarded to the Toll Street Mission, Nashua Soup Kitchen Shelter, Nashua Pastoral Care Center, and Marguerite's Place. So really a lot of money directly right to our community. And then in the bottom right here, a 7-year-old Nashua Big Sister Jennifer Martinson chats with Governor Shaheen at one of the Rotary luncheons.
Pictured here in 97 is past President Jim Conway. He follows through on a drive while taking part in the Rotary Club 100 Holes of Golf Tournament. 51 golfers from 5 area Rotary clubs played, raising $35,000. So we didn't have one photo. We didn't have any group photos. Rotary International had a meeting in North Conway, New Hampshire back in 99, and past President Jack Tully, who served 98, 99, represented our National Rotary Club there. I believe Ken Grabo was there as well, so he's pictured in the upper right. And there's some pictures there, and I believe Jack is receiving an award from there. We don't know exactly what the award is, but Jack can tell us later. And meeting up with some of his, I think, favorite Rotarian people.
This is Sconsis, past member, shaking hands with, I won't pronounce this right, Prince Zedza Dlamini of Swaziland, grandson of Nelson Mandela. He was there as a guest of the U.S. Department of Education Region 1 Rep Jan Pascal, who's shown in the background, meeting other guests after that luncheon. There's another Republican candidate for governor during Jack's presidency, speaking at the Rotary Club. And again, definitely stop on the campaign trail.
Guy Mahfouz was past president 1999, right into the new millennium, 2000. And here he is with Republican candidate Gary Bauer, when he was talking about a humble beginning as a janitor's son from Kentucky with the club. In Sizier, he also is seen here giving a $50,000 donation to Home Health and Hospice Care of Nashua. I'm going to say that looks like Peggy Gilmore. We didn't have a name, but I think it is. And other recipients of donations were the Hunt Memorial Building, the Nashua Y, the newly formed Supervised Visitation Center, the Courier Art Gallery in Manchester, and the Caregivers of Nashua.
And by this year, women being first admitted in 1987, there was nearly 2,000 women presidents at this time.
And Tina was the first of our club, and Debbie Nash was the first woman, I think, inducted in our club. Go ahead.
So here's a picture. This is Brian Law's presidency, and membership spans generations, as shown in this photograph. Jack Law and his son Brian Law. Seated in the front are Philip Hall and his son Charles, and third generation Rotarian Bill Berry. And then also, Goyette, happy to report $32,000 has been raised for a van for a family who has 3 children with muscular sclerosis, so definitely helping directly with people of our community. Governor Janine Shaheen addressing the club. She's come a few times. A little shout out to Lisa Law, who hit a hole-in-one golfing with her husband, Brian Law. It's pretty exceptional, yep. And here we found a picture of club member Karen Bill taking scissors to Dave Pastor's necktie. I guess a tradition from the 50s that you cut the ugliest tie in half during meetings. I guess he had the ugliest tie.
And we're not saying that photo's from the 50s. So no. Dave, if you ever see this, we're not saying that about you, buddy. We're really not. However, we learned a lot. There wasn't just the throwing of the rolls across the dining room. There was also the cutting of the men's ties. Too funny. Okay. And this is about our beloved Jack Atkinson, a Rotary member that shows dedication. This is a very nice article from 2001 about his dedication to our Nashua Rotary Club. And this photo shows Jack in his company's foundry, president of Bronzecraft. He played a big part in the Nashua Rotary for the past 40 years, and he hasn't missed one meeting during that time. And Jack, you're amazing because your legacy continues. You still have perfect attendance, and we applaud you. Thank you, Jack. And we're going to ask Mindy to take it over right now and help us with the song that Lynn Marino, who helps us with music in these presentations, has chosen, and it is called Autumn Leaves.
You got it.
Thanks, Mindy.
Drift by the window, the autumn leaves summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long.
This is really sad.
Did I hear old winter song? But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall.
Thank you, Mindy. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Song was a little sadder than I thought. We received this little excerpt from via Lynn Marino the day after our August presentation about the 9th decade. So we didn't want to be remiss. We wanted to let everyone know this is about past President Arintha Silva. She was president of our club 2005 to 2006, and she gives a little information about herself. And again, Lynn received it on September 1st, so we thought we'd just stick it in here, give you a minute to read over it. And she says she misses everyone. Very nice. Thank you, Lynn, for passing that along to us. And this is our in memoriam section.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow, thank you, Jane and Paige. That was an awesome review of the decade, and
That
thank you,
was terrific.
Levette,
Thank
for
you.
the research. Wow, that was really great. Thank you. As we end our program today, please remember, in all of the things that we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And our club special, will it be fun? Thanks, everyone.